The empire of censorship in the 21st century. We live not in an era defined by democratic choice or free market competition, but rather in an age ruled by what Yanis Varoufakis describes as techno-feudalism. However, while Varoufakis exposes the growing power of digital monopolies, he does not address the deeper structural layer behind them, the entrenched financial interests and dynastic powers that control the so-called techno-feudalists. These entities are not simply powerful tech companies, they are extensions of global capital that have long dominated world systems. The public is fed a steady diet of entrepreneurial fairy tales. We're told that Bill Gates and Steve Jobs built empires from their garages, that Jeff Bezos founded Amazon with little more than a dream, and that Elon Musk is a lone genius remaking civilization. These stories, carefully crafted and relentlessly repeated, obscure the fact that these individuals were backed, boosted, and ultimately beholden to far greater forces. Bill Gates, for example, was heavily supported by IBM early in Microsoft's history, and Elon Musk's ventures have relied on billions in government subsidies, Department of Defense contracts, and venture capital tied to elite networks. Consider who controls these narratives. The same media conglomerates that glamorize tech entrepreneurs are owned by parent companies whose shareholders include financial giants such as BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. These asset managers hold controlling stakes in virtually every major tech, media, and pharmaceutical company. For instance, Vanguard and BlackRock together are among the top shareholders of Apple, Microsoft, Google, Alphabet, Meta, and Amazon. Thus, media, technology, finance, and policy are no longer separate domains. They are interwoven threads of the same web. What this structure enables is seamless, systemic censorship. In the 20th century, censorship was overt. Governments banning books, imprisoning dissidents, or shutting down newspapers. In the 21st century, censorship is algorithmic, behavioral, and invisible. Platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and even Google Search routinely filter, suppress, or demonetize content that challenges dominant narratives. The COVID-19 pandemic offered a striking example. Voices that questioned the pharmaceutical industry, lockdown policies, or vaccine mandates were shadow banned or deplatformed under the guise of preventing misinformation. This form of censorship is not random. It is structural. For example, in 2020, Twitter, now X, coordinated with U.S. government agencies and intelligence-linked NGOs to remove content and users deemed harmful, even when such content was factually correct. The Twitter files, released by journalist Matt Taibbi, revealed extensive behind-the-scenes coordination between big tech and federal authorities. Similarly, Facebook's fact-checking program was found to rely on organizations funded by the very interests they claimed to be neutral arbiters. The social media platforms we once hailed as tools of democratization are now instruments of control. Their algorithms prioritize divisive, emotionally charged content to maximize engagement and profit, while at the same time, muting dissenting voices. In countries around the world, from the United States to India to Turkey, governments have pressured platforms to remove content, surveil users, or hand over private data. In the United Kingdom, the situation has taken a darker turn. Under Prime Minister Keir Starmer, the state has aggressively expanded its campaign against dissent. British farmers protesting environmental regulations and land policies have been arrested and jailed under new public order laws. Simultaneously, social media users criticizing the government have faced police investigations, deplatforming, and even prosecution. What was once considered protected political speech is now being reframed as extremism or disinformation. The new Starmer administration appears committed to tightening its grip on public discourse, invoking national security and social harmony while criminalizing legitimate protest. This isn't just about politics. It's about creating a reality in which only sanctioned ideas are allowed to thrive. Edward Snowden's revelations in 2013 unveiled a global surveillance architecture involving the NSA and its partners, effectively reducing digital privacy to a myth. Julian Assange, punished for exposing war crimes, remains imprisoned while those he exposed remain free. Meanwhile, AI and facial recognition technologies are being developed and deployed not for freedom, but for control, particularly in authoritarian regimes, but increasingly in so-called democracies. And yet, the illusion of freedom persists. We are told that we live in the age of information, but what we consume is carefully curated and pre-digested. We are told that free speech is protected, but censorship is now privatized, outsourced to platforms that operate above the law. We are told that elections are fair, yet candidates without corporate or institutional backing rarely break through the noise. This empire of censorship does not use brute force. It uses narrative control, psychological manipulation, and digital dependency. We willingly carry tracking devices in our pockets, confess our thoughts to data mining platforms, and submit to terms and conditions we never read. We are not surveilled by Orwellian tyrants, but by ad-driven algorithms created by corporations that are, in turn, owned by entities we never see. Even religion, which once offered a refuge from worldly corruption, has been co-opted or commodified. Spiritual leaders cozy up to billionaires, while megachurches invest in real estate empires and televangelists sell salvation on cable networks. Heaven and hell may remain theoretical, but on earth power is very real, and concentrated in fewer hands than ever before. We live under an empire not of liberty, but of illusion. Censorship today is not merely about what is silenced, it is about what is amplified to drown out dissent. As long as we buy into the myths of self-made billionaires, digital democracies, and infinite progress, we will remain captives of a system designed to exploit us. The first step toward liberation is not political revolution, but perceptual awakening. We must recognize the architecture of control for what it is, a matrix of money, media, and manufactured consent. Only then can we begin to challenge the empire, not with slogans, but with truth.